Hello, beautiful angels. It's so exciting to be here with you. I don't often start with a picture of myself, but I know that we have some new people in the group today. And so I'd like to introduce myself and also explain why I am not on video. So, what a wonderful chant to start with. Om Tare Tu Tare Ture Soha. This is the chant of the Green Tara, and our group is called the Green Tara for a very important reason. My name is Adi, but that is not so important. I always like to point to that which is important. And so what is important is you in this world on a big mission, and we will speak about this mission. And so thank you for being here and for supporting this amazing process of planetary ascension. I always hope, and it is my great intent, to bring clarity to this ascension process and always information that is empowering for us. So focusing on what is to be done. And also assisting us, of course, in understanding. So when I entered this world, and again, a few stories, I always use stories. Storytelling to me is very powerful. We react to stories. The reason why I'm never really, hardly ever presenting on camera is because when I entered this world, we are given many missions. We come with many different missions for this planetary service. And one of the important things that my guides actually guided me to do is to the online events, just online events without camera, so that we really point at that which is important. So it's not about the person. But of course, when we do in-person events where we gather together, it's very different. And so when I entered this world as a child, I entered the world in Czechoslovakia, which was in communism. And that was by design. And it was really wonderful because what was really important is this planetary ascension as a mission. So since I entered as a child, that we all do in these human bodies, obviously we come as very big beings into very small bodies. And so on the outside, it could seem like we are children. But for this lifetime, we came very equipped. We came equipped with many different tools, with skills, with training, with great fields of light. And all of that had to fit into a small body. And so for me, it was since day one learning about this planetary ascension that was to come. I didn't know really the term for it, but I was always taken out of body really every night of my early childhood since I can remember, kind of being a toddler, and always being taken out of body into different timelines, into different, I would even call it really future and past of the earth, and being prepared for this huge mission that we all came here for. And so by the age of 13, I had a huge, huge desire to meditate. It was like a burning desire that definitely was not, something that my family was doing. But my family was very nature oriented. And so since, again, in communism, we didn't have much TV, which again is wonderful or was wonderful. And so kids really got to bond with nature. And so I got to bond with nature mainly through my grandmother, who was, I would call her a nature spirit, really a pagan who worshipped every element of nature, and not just like surface level, but she was definitely a worshiper of nature in most wonderful ways. And so she was a woman who taught me about contemplation in nature, silence. But I had a huge, huge desire to truly meditate, to learn how to uncover the mystery of the human being, to be the highest potential and really manifest the highest potential. And so when I was 13, I somehow got my hands on the Tibetan Book of the Dead that many of you are familiar with. And I simply followed all the instructions in the Tibetan Book of the Dead. And you would think those are instructions for a person who's dying, but I just thought, I'm just going to chant every day and follow all the visualizations. And so when I did that, I ended up having a complete, what today, you would say controlled near-death experience. So it didn't come through suffering, it came through meditation. And it was truly near-death experience that we know kind of where the body and the being get completely disconnected, where we lose relationship with the body in a way that we do not identify anymore with the body. And so that was my experience at the age of 13, complete loss of identification. And what happened was like a tornado force came to pick me up. It pulled me rapidly out of my body. And I ended up in my bedroom, and I was simply, truly hovering above the body. And I could not believe that that was me. I really could not believe it. I was totally almost like, I was puzzled and confused. I was like, how a being of these proportions could fit into this small body? That's surely not me. And in that moment, this beautiful divine being appeared. And I just have this beautiful picture here of the Divine Mother, even though I cannot claim if it was Divine Mother, but it was this amazingly beautiful, radiant, divine feminine being. And I obviously had to listen to what she had to say. And she explained to me that I had to go back into the body. And she gave me little instructions. So I was 13. And she said, you have to go back to grow along the tree of life. And then kind of the force pushed me back in. And so I was pushed back into the body. And of course, that started this huge, unfolding here. So, I really didn't know about the tree of life, but today's presentation here will be very much about the tree of life as we are preparing for something really important. So my life unfolded in a way, always being guided by Divine Mother herself. She appeared several times in the physical body. And one time she appeared as the Green Tara. This was in 2017. And the way that she appeared, people, as a mystic, I meditated all my life. I meditated a lot, I would say many, many thousands of hours. And I was so blessed, again, like many of you, to have a true guru, a guide. And he appeared to me one day. And even though, I know that you guys are familiar with him, Yogananda, I didn't know Yogananda at all as a teacher in this world, but he appeared to me one day. And this was in 2010. And when he appeared to me, he asked me to study with him, and not to study his books, but to actually come to him in meditation every day for 2 years. And he would teach me every day about the alignment of the human being from the personality self to the higher self, to the soul, to the spirit, and then all the way to God. That could be God the Father, God the Mother. So for 2 years, every day I would meditate in Encinitas, California, and Yogananda would appear as he said he would. And he taught me those steps that I have taught for free. They are all on YouTube, so you can look into it. Now, all of this is really important when you think about it as a mystic. What does it mean, this alignment? Why is alignment so important? We are here to actually align the planetary axis. First, the personal axis. We are here to align the personal axis with the planetary axis, with the solar axis, with the axis of our galaxy, with the universal axis, and then the cosmic axis. So hopefully, I have a lot of information running through me, and I always try to kind of just read the ethers to bring it through. So sometimes it's not very organized, but hopefully it's understandable. So alignment is really the key to our experience of what we call our multi-dimensional reality. And multi-dimensional reality is basically you right now aligning with all that you are. And so Yogananda started to teach me, how do you align first from the body? How do you start with the human body, and we will look at some pictures of this, but how do we align first through our own axis, which is our spine, with the larger axis of the world that we are part of? And so when we align, then we start exploring the bigger and a bigger and a bigger and a bigger part of who we are. Everything runs through, in this world, in this physical body, through our axis, which is our spine, and of course the open heart. And so Yogananda taught me for 2 years. And then one day, as I was meditating in the gardens in Encinitas, in his beautiful hermitage, suddenly Yogananda appeared in a completely physical body, which happens, they can come in etheric bodies, they can come in physical bodies. It takes a lot of energy for a divine being, of course, to manifest in a physical body. But there are different ways in which these divine beings can manifest to us, including, of course, Divine Mother, including Divine Father. So, we just have to stay open and keep meditating and see what happens, really. And so when he appeared, he laid his hands on top of my head, which again, is important center, your crown. And he sent and channeled this golden electricity down my spine, down the nervous system. So he really rewired my brain, and he rewired my brain cells in the nervous system. And again, that's something that is really important, because our alignment with the true multidimensional reality has a lot to do with our nervous system, as we will see in this presentation. So really, the focus here is to have some information, some understanding for 11/11. That will be such an important date and activity for humankind to align. Alignment is so important. Let's take a look at this presentation. So hopefully that is enough of an introduction. And so here we are. I'd like to invite the presence of our beautiful Divine Mother that has been guiding us so much. And once again, this all started with the Green Tara. It all started with Divine Mother in many forms, but one of them was the Green Tara. And when the Green Tara appeared one day, I was getting ready for work, and I looked into the mirror, getting ready, making sure everything looks okay. Then I'm looking in the mirror, and above me was this being, just like you see her here, this incredible, huge being of all nature. And she just really hovered above my head. And I could see her, like I was looking at myself in the mirror, but there she was. And this was in 2017. And then she started to teach me about nature, and she wanted that I share everything that really she taught about our alignment with nature, which is our alignment through the body with the larger nature that we as mystics eventually call the cosmic consciousness, cosmic nature. And so that's why the Green Tara. But as you know, Divine Mother, if you have had experiences with Divine Mother, if anyone is a shapeshifter who likes to take on many different forms, it is Divine Mother. And so one of the beautiful forms that actually come through here as well are the beautiful Lakshmi. And so I'd like to show this beautiful picture of Lakshmi, where she was painted by a wonderful artist to whom Divine Mother manifested in this form. And she really wanted to be seen this way. And so, nothing would be complete with our Divine Father. And this group is a very non-religious group for many different reasons, but we are mystics. And as mystics, we, explore consciousness through meditation. And it could be many different, paths to exploring consciousness. But again, the fast track to all of this is meditation taught, for example, by Yogananda, which is really aligning and magnetizing the spine, transforming the nervous system, disconnecting from the five senses, which might actually be transmitting illusion to us, as it is often called the veil of Maya. And through meditation, we arrive at the beautiful harmony of all things. And that is the beautiful relationship. Here, it's as beings, the Shakti as the Divine Mother, Shiva as the Divine Father, but we are not holding on to any forms. It's always good to see some form and then go into formlessness. But at the core of creation is great love. And the great love is the Divine Feminine and the Divine Masculine. And that has to do, again, with the forces that we will be aligning with. And these forces are actually the forces of magnetism, which is the force of Divine Mother. In cosmos, love can be called love, just like we call it here. But in cosmos, where we can see the true divine reality, magnetism is actually love. And so we can see it visibly. It is a magnetic force that holds cosmos together in beautiful love, in beautiful harmony. And the energy that we associate with Divine Father, which is the energy of Divine Masculine, is the energy that we consider to be electric. And so that's why, for example, Yogananda would transmit golden light into the nervous system as actually the electricity of God. And so again, formless or form, it doesn't matter. We are working with forces of creation. But at the core of creation is always great love, great harmony, great balance of Divine Mother, Father, God, whatever names we give it. And so today we will be working with amazing instructions of our dear world teacher, Patricia Cota Robles. Some of you already know her really well. Some of you might not know her. So I want to make sure that everybody knows Patricia and how Patricia has been guiding really humanity, as many of us as possible, for the last many decades. And for example, her event and her organization event, which is every year in August, is called the World Congress on Illumination. And it's a absolutely magnificent, powerful, important event to participate in every year, to empower the light in this world so that we can truly be of service and, be actionable. And so that's really important. And so, for example, we've had the 37th year of the World Congress on Illumination this year. So many of us attended in person, and I just loved seeing many of you there doing the work. But of course, for some of you, you attended online, which is also really important and powerful. And so I will not be actually here in the US. I'm in California, but I will not be here on 11/11. I will be in Spain, and I'm not quite sure if I have enough, service to actually be live. But Patricia so graciously agreed to lead the activity of light, which will take place on 11/11, and she will be live on we're going to do YouTube live, and we will do that on 11/11. The times are posted on the greentara.guru website. And so it's going to be 10 a.m. Pacific and then 11 a.m. Arizona time. Patricia is in Tucson, Arizona. So it just so happens to be that she will be presenting at her 11/11. And so she will be leading us into this amazing activity, which is really, I think, the most important activity for 11/11. And again, I will always want to point to that planetary service, not to any person, but it's really, really important. And so what we will be doing is presenting a beautiful, so Patricia will present and also lead us through the alignment that we have the beautiful video that we co-created. You can download the video actually, so you can view it on YouTube, but to be able to download the high definition, if you go to the greentara.guru website, you can download it. Everybody is welcome to download the high definition. It looks great on big screen. And I'd like to encourage everyone to share it with your friends. And also if you want to organize meditation circles, just to bring this awareness to everyone. And I'll explain why this is so actually important. So in 2018, I was with my husband, and we like to go to Encinitas again and again. And so for the Lionsgate, we went to Encinitas to meditate with Yogananda again in his beautiful presence in the meditation gardens. And we rented an Airbnb close to the gardens so that you can be in the energy of Yogananda, such a beautiful avatar, really an emanation of Source who came to planet Earth to restore our access through the Kriya Yoga. So that's really important to understand that all of this, it's the kind of rescue plan for humanity that we've had for millions of years. And so all the different things that we are familiar with, all the traditions, all the teachings, you can think of everything as trying to return humanity back to divine reality. Now, this is really important because, we've been living in a civilization that has been around for thousands of years, and we have so much misunderstanding about who we are. And that's because we only look at maybe the last few thousands of years, and that cannot give us a full picture of what humanity really is. If we actually try to look back millions of years, we might not be able to look through our historical, documents or our knowledge of archaeology, because we really have to explore cosmic consciousness and our own history through meditation, through expansion of our own consciousness, just like Yogananda always recommended, instead of studying it, instead of researching it, meditating yourself into expanded consciousness. And so, in 2018, we were staying close to Yogananda's, and in the middle of the night, I suddenly received my divine self. It comes as a download. And I know in 2018, during 8/8, many of us, if not all of us, experienced the same thing, whether we know it or not. But for me, that was like a huge, remembrance. When the divine self came in, it comes in as a field of geometry, field of energy, field of sound, field of color, and it just downloaded through the top of the crown for the first time like this, in a way that it really changed my own kind of knowing of who I am. Suddenly I had memories that I'd never had before, but they were so detailed. It was like remembering everything about certain past lives. And so I started to completely just have complete full recall of past lives when the Earth didn't make the shift of the ages, when we were present on planet Earth at the end of Atlantis. And it was like a heartbreaking kind of experience from my own perspective, when the Earth really could not move on, when she couldn't shift into higher dimensions. And instead, we had to, accept the flood as a solution. And that was, to me, at that point, I was in a body that I remembered really well. I remembered everyone around me, and we were taken out of the body. And when we were taken out of the body, I remember kind of, this is the way that I describe it, running to the throne of God and saying, please send me back, because we need to make sure the Earth will never suffer like this again. And so, to me, this alignment of the planetary axis, all the information comes from really initially the 2018, 19, 20, 21. Those were huge breakthroughs for all of us. I know that we are all remembering more and more and more and more, because our divine self started to come in more and more and more fully. Some of us even experience complete embodiment of the divine self. And again, for me, mainly this always happens around 8/8, where there's a huge download of the divine self to come in. And so the divine self, when the divine self comes in, we shift in consciousness. We are no longer limited by the personality self. And basically, the personality self starts to dissolve more and more and more, the limited understanding of things. And instead, we step into great love. We step into great a feeling of oneness with every woman, every child, every man, the planet, all life, all animals, all trees, all plants, the whole solar system and beyond. And so suddenly I was able to see like things inside the Earth and great history of the Earth millions of years ago, which I think is part of course, of what, for example, yoga does. The yoga that Yogananda taught and that he transmitted and initiated people into, so that we can gain these big continuous memories of who we are and how we fit into beautiful cosmic creation. And so one of the things that I was able to see is how planet Earth used to have an aligned axis of the world. And we are talking about the magnetic poles, which is the North Pole and the South Pole. And so I experienced through past lives, how we went from alignment into actually a tilt. And it was shown to me, or even explained to me, by the Earth herself, because the Earth, of course, starts speaking to you too as a consciousness. This is the beautiful Gaia. She reveals herself to every mystic. Hence the story of Saint Francis of Assisi, how when he aligned himself through love, through devotion, how he aligned his axis, right? That suddenly nature started to speak to him. And that is actually our original design, to be able to receive knowledge from nature, information, guidance from nature. Nature is not only in this world, she's a cosmic nature, and so she is actually in all of cosmos. And so she started telling me, that once upon a time our axis tilted, and that when the axis tilted, with that, the axis of every human being tilted too, which created a problem. And I call it the catch-22, because that means when you have a world that is tilted, and then everyone who's born into this world eventually starts tilting too, that means we are out of alignment. This broke the planetary web, which is actually a web of information. Web of information is really important. All of cosmos is interconnected by a web of life. This web is really an information web through which information is transmitted between all systems, all worlds, and it is really important and useful. Just like a healthy system of the body is a system where all organs communicate with each other, your nervous system beautifully transmits, and so there is no error. But when you have a planet that is tilted, which breaks the planetary web, then of course the information then is also distorted. And so we can think of our planetary axis as the magnetic axis, which is created through the magnetic north and magnetic south. And so then what happens when you actually have a distorted electromagnetic field and a tilted axis, it creates a veil, which is the electromagnetic field itself. And then the veil, we call it now through mystical traditions, the veil of Maya. You can call it the veil of illusion. And of course, the veil of illusion then is simply that our five senses are, of course, they translate from this electromagnetic field. And so then what we see, what we hear, what we touch, what we smell cannot be the full divine reality, because the full divine reality ceases to exist for us unless we develop ourselves through our nervous system development, through meditation, yoga, tai chi, qigong, definitely silence, definitely being able to control the flow of life force and the nervous system within us. And so dissolving the veil of Maya means realigning the earth, realigning the human being. That's why we start with the human being, which originally was, of course, the purpose of yoga, the purpose of, qigong, was to align the human being first so that they can actually work against the pull of the world. The pull of the world is the pull of our electromagnetic field. So you can imagine how big of an opportunity we have. I also want to call it the world liberation, because if you manipulate the electromagnetic field, as we know EMF, for example, but that's just one part of it, then the entire planet, all of humanity, is also in a way manipulated, right? Because we have to think about it, people speak about the false matrix, and I want to also put it out there. What is the false matrix? Well, let's translate it into really scientific terms. So again, the electromagnetic field influences how we perceive reality. If a person is not developed through meditation, they will perceive reality as what we call the ordinary reality that so many people, consider the status quo. You see it, you feel it, you smell it, you touch it. Oh, that must be reality. Well, is it really though? Because what we know, and again, I'm not a scientist, but I just wanted to, do a little bit of, so-called scientific research. And that is, for example, the National Library of Medicine, NIH, is showing how electromagnetic fields affect the nervous system. Now we have to think big. The electromagnetic field truly is how we perceive reality. Because look what our senses are. And I will explain to you why I'm speaking about this. Again, it's from, practicing the Kriya Yoga with Yogananda. Our nerves, they relay signals to the brain, and the brain then interprets them as sight, sound, smell, taste, and touch. Now, we should find that very suspicious, of course, shouldn't we? What is real is really the question of what our senses are really able to perceive within an electromagnetic field, which might be very distorted. So you see that here on the left, we have the typical human being with a very depleted electromagnetic field, and especially magnetism. And so the ones who want to experience true freedom actually, so that, it's clear, freedom is when a being is able to generate their own North Pole and South Pole through their own alignment of their own personal axis through meditation, but not just meditation. It actually has to be energy work within. Meditation on the outside, it might look the same for everyone. We close our eyes, we sit, even make it very pretty and sit in some posture. But actually, what happens on the inside is the key to our generation of this electromagnetic field. And so for that, for example, I can only speak about the things that I know from practice, and that is Kriya Yoga of Yogananda, inner engineering with Sadhguru. It's really what also Qigong does, where we generate massive amount of magnetism from what we call divine feminine, the mother, and then the electric energy of really divine masculine, which is our divine father. And we grow it, become free. This is our sovereign state. It has very little to do with what we think, if we are free or not. People often say, I'm free. But really, the only freedom can be found if we generate this electromagnetic field in which we are actually not being influenced by the pull of the world. And that's why 11/11 is such an important date for us, because we have the opportunity to do this on a planetary scale, not just on a personal scale. So you see, the world was working against the human being, pulling them down, tilting them 23.5, degrees. But that's why when we align now on 11/11, the axis of the world, we are also then realigning each one of us. So this is really important. You know, Yogananda, again, our senses are incapable of providing the truth of the ultimate nature of reality. And it is only through alignment of the axis within that we can start perceiving the multidimensional reality, which is normally hidden from the ordinary human being. And it is only to do, again, with our nervous system and our heart. So here is the tree of life that, you know, I experienced as a 13-year-old, where it was said to me, again, we have to be here to grow along the tree of life. So this is from the Kabbalah, and you see the tree of life needs to have an axis. So this is the picture that you might be familiar with from the Kabbalah, how we are connected to the macrocosm. Now, again, you know, we don't have to read all within it, but there is perfect geometry of alignment. It is mathematical. It is also perfect axis of the world that aligns the human being here in the world with the heavens. Heavens is like a big word for something that actually we could call cosmos. You know, we are part of cosmos, and cosmos actually contains multiverses. Within cosmos are multiverses. Within a universe are many galaxies, as you know, and then we happen to be in one of the galaxies in a solar system, and the solar system too has its own alignment. So we are aligning with quite a bit of cosmos here. And so you can think of this as axis mundi. When I first started to receive information from the earth, she actually speaks to you in words. And so she was giving me words, and one of the words she gave me, or the combination, was, you know, aligning the axis mundi. It's from Latin, and I didn't know exactly what she meant, so I Googled. And so axis mundi is actually a term that has been used by many mystics to refer to not only the planetary axis of the world, but also the cosmic spine. And so once again, the goal of yoga, for example, is to achieve, you know, it's called achieve cosmic consciousness. Well, what does it mean? It really means that we align our own spine, our own axis, with higher dimensions, higher realms, and we call these higher realms the solar realm, the universal realm, and then finally the cosmic realm. So we align all the axes, of course, so that information can flow. Isn't that amazing? And so this is how big this project is. This is how important it is, you know. And it is, you know, everything in cosmos has to actually be done only when the time is right. Because time, well, let's call it timing, when the timing is right. And that means that there is already an invitation in cosmos for us to do something. It's not really so much worth it, you know, to do something when the invitation is not there. And so you can call it divine will. And so on 11/11, something magnificent happens in cosmos. And I was able to see this, you know, actually, you know, I call it with the inner sight. Through meditation, I saw how there are these amazing pillars that create a portal, a cosmic portal around 11/11. And because you have two pillars on each side, to me, it looks like, you know, two figures, 11 and then 11. And it creates this cosmic portal through which then this incredible light flows to the earth. And then we can do something really, really special with this. And that's exactly this here. But again, Patricia Cota Robles, she will have so much more information than I have, of course, as well. I wanted to also mention, you know, an experience that I had. You know, again, I was chanting a lot of Om, and I always recommend chanting a lot of Om to be able to move through different dimensions. And so I realized that this axis mundi is also what aligns us with all these beautiful dimensions that we see also in the Tibetan, you know, pictures of, for example, Mount Meru. And that truly, this alignment is absolutely the key to us once again belonging into divine reality, because we are not in divine reality. This is not divine reality. It is still distorted so-called reality that is really far from divine reality. We can say that divine reality is a cosmic dream that maybe not all dreams are real or not, but we live here in a dream within a dream. So you could say kind of caught in a little bubble, And that's why, most humans don't actually experience cosmic consciousness. And so finally, through this alignment, all of us will have this amazing opportunity to experience divine reality, which is really important because it gives us actually a sense of who we truly are, and that we are immortal beings, and that we are truly beautiful beings in cosmos. You would say, children of Divine Mother, children of Divine Father. And so that's why it is so important to align us. So we speak about the alignment as an axis, and many of you are familiar with the tree of life, but also the tree of life in a simple depiction, it can also be seen as a toroidal field, the donut. And at the center of this toroidal field, you have this beautiful vortex, really a wormhole, and you have the roots, and then you have the crown. And this also, of course, creates our rainbow body. So here is a beautiful picture, which was created, I think for the 1987 harmonic convergence for Jose Arguelles. So with his team, they created this beautiful graphic, which again just shows you how long, mystics have been working on the alignment of the axis internally, through the heart, through the spine, and aligning with the planetary and cosmic axis. And so this is a beautiful picture again I found, which is to me just shows the beautiful final outcome where the earth has her own, again, organic, healthy electromagnetic field with a lot of magnetism, which means a lot of health. So again, like the yogis, they always wanted to build up magnetism, because magnetism is love, and it gives us protection, it gives us thriving. And for the earth, for example, it also creates this magnetic field, a field of, you would call it, protection, which means then only love can enter. So the earth then becomes a planet of love. So again, magnetism is love. And so then only beings of love can enter. So you see, there's a lot that goes into all of this. So at the moment, this is our electromagnetic field. And so again, we're talking about the magnetic axis that you see is tilted. So we have a tilt, which at the moment is about 23.5 degrees. And, you would say it's always been like that. And people are concerned also about, what happens to the seasons. And so for us, when the axis is actually aligned, that's when we enter the golden age. So the earth becomes really a star. She becomes a world of solar light. And so we are aligning the magnetic field. We are aligning the magnetic axis with also the solar axis. So as you know, this is our sun. And even our sun has a south pole and a north pole. And here you see it reversed. And that's because our sun also experiences reversal of the poles. But this is just to show that even our sun has an axis. And then here we have a scientific picture of, actually, this is our galaxy, where you see the beautiful donut. That's our galaxy. And then you see our Earth, and you see how the axes are not aligned. And so once again, when there's no alignment, there is no communication that flows properly, but also, it's like a relationship. Alignment, you might also call love. Alignment is, when you are with your beloved, you want to get along, you want to align, you want to go in the same direction, flow in the same way. And so basically, it is also aligning the flow. And so this picture is very telling. We are part of galactic consciousness. And again, when we speak about galactic consciousness these days, everybody thinks about the galactic beings, but we are more concerned with consciousness, with the light of the galaxy, with the energy of the galaxy, with the love of the galaxy. And so once again, during 11/11, we have the opportunity to align our personal axis with the planetary axis, with the solar axis, with the galactic axis. And then finally, this is also the axis of our galaxy. So you see the flow of magnetism through the galaxy, which, very few people really think about, right? We wake up in the morning, very, very seldom do we think about, I just woke up in a galaxy, let alone on a planet. And so it's good to think about these things. And so I've explored a lot of cosmos through these controlled out-of-body experiences that somehow, part of my skill set for this lifetime for a reason. And I was able to actually even leave our universe and to be able to see the universe from a distance, and not just one universe, but the multitude of universes. So again, yogis, they've always used out-of-body travel. They call it in a way samadhi, that is very controlled, where you keep your body alive, and at the same time, you are able to actually exit, and you are able to visit different, I would say, corners of cosmos, and then come back, of course, and to have the knowledge, share the knowledge, whatever is useful. And so when I was able to leave this universe, which it's pretty magnificent experience, then being able to see the universe from a distance, I was able to see that even the universe has a North Pole and a South Pole. And so I was looking for, if scientists ever considered that a universe also has a magnetic axis. And this is the picture that I found. So this is a scientific, I guess, theoretical picture of the known universe. And you see that it's very, very similar, again, to having a North Pole and a South Pole. So once again, on 11/11, we are aligning with also the universal axis. It's pretty amazing, isn't that? And so within us, as we are in a human body, and the human body is an incredible sacred, really vehicle, tool, instrument, let's call it an instrument. And because the human body also was very much distorted, and the human body was very much misused throughout the ages, we no longer were able to use the human body as really our incredible fifth-dimensional vehicle. And so it degraded. That's why we started to experience a lot of different conditions that we would call, distortions. But again, our ascension process is about restoring the body so that the body can actually once again give us this multi-dimensional experience in the body. And so our human body truly is the pillar between the heaven and earth. And for that to be true, and again, think of heaven as cosmos, like we looked at many different really bodies within the cosmos. The body is capable of actually constantly having this multi-dimensional awareness of us through 12 planes of existence that exist within us. I got to experience them kind of, I would say, randomly. I know nothing is random, but I was doing body work, just simply, kind of some kind of body work, massage, deep tissue, alignment of the bones. And it was something the Divine Mother always taught me about. She always says bones and alignment of bones, the alignment of nervous system is so important. And so I started to practice different, techniques to align the bones, to stand a certain way, to sleep a certain way, to sit a certain way. Till one day after this body work, where they were using rocks to put on every chakra, suddenly my multidimensional perception of these 12 layers became completely activated, and I was able to perceive our own 12-dimensional reality through the 12 chakra system that we have now. So all of this is important to 11/11. Once again, hopefully it's kind of making sense, because the alignment of us has so much to do with our understanding of who we are. If we are caught in just a little fraction of who we are, we will not be able to understand who we are. We will not be able to understand the big picture. We are unable then to even embody, the fullness of who we are. And yet it is like in the story, The Alchemist, there is a huge treasure within us. We just need to know how to open the treasure. And so everything truly is within, and I would say it is within the spine, it is within the brain centers, but also it's within our alignment, and it is within the heart, of course. And so let's take a look at something really puzzling when it comes to alignment. And so again, I got to experience this through this alignment where suddenly the bones, Divine Mother was guiding me to align the bones. I started to play with this a little bit. So I would lay down on the bed and I would just expand my arms and straighten my legs and just feel completely like I'm geometrically aligned with the flow of energy. And this led me to actually experience something very incredible. Hard to explain it, but I know many mystics experience the same thing. And that was actually the activation of the light body through aligning with a cross. Cross not meaning some kind of suffering, tool that was used to crucify someone, but actually the cross within. This cross also you can see here as the four corners, once again, the four corners within, which is our horizontal and our vertical alignment. This is bigger and more important than we might even imagine, right? Because, you know, what's the big deal how I'm sitting? What's the big deal how I'm sleeping? Well, the big deal is the energy flow. And again, you know, we've been, we've gone a lot through suffering and pain in this world and through conditional happiness. And the reason why this has all been happening is because we didn't have the alignment. And so this alignment is so, you know, huge personally. It's huge for our world. It's huge for our humanity. It's huge for our children, grandchildren, for all of life, right? Because the reason why we have suffering, the reason why we have pain, why we have disease and all the misunderstanding, the unconsciousness, the fear, is because the world is out of alignment, and so is almost everyone else. And so we really want to make sure that everybody is aware that now is the opportunity to align and to do it so easily, supported by the portal of 1111, which is just incredible. So when Divine Mother started to teach me about bones and how to align the bones, it was like the next step of real liberation. So when I was able to align my bones and align them really precisely, suddenly I was able to exit the body at will, completely controlled. Again, there's a specific term for it, but you know, we know it as samadhi, where you can simply exit and you go through the bardo state and you go to other worlds and you can be in your super conscious self, but at will you go and at will you come. And so again, to me, this is the Vitruvian man, which again shows us how important is the human form and to be aligned with the world axis. So once again, you know, it might be symbolic for some of us, but we can also experience all of this as an incredible upgrade through which our light body is activated. And it is our light body that determines how we can travel in other dimensions and where we can go. So it's a lot of information, but I wanted to also touch upon Taoism. So Divine Mother started teaching me about the Tao, and she introduced herself really as the Lady of the Tao. And so this is from a Taoist book where they explore the soul and the spirit. Now, this puzzled me when I saw this. This is from a book by Mantak Chia. When I first saw it, you know, I thought, man, this is exactly what Yogananda was teaching. And that is that it is the alignment which leads us to the experience of our soul, and that we need to be precise. This is not just kind of some, you know, child play. I'm going to sit like this and expect this. It truly is precision of the 33 vertebrae, right? It's the precision of the crown being aligned with what is called the gates of heaven. But once again, the gates of heaven, right? We are talking about the star systems, the planetary systems, the solar system, the universe, the cosmos. And so it all runs through the body. And you see how this being here, in order to be able to actually experience their own multidimensional self, you would say the higher selves, then they do have to sit, right, kind of against the pull of the axis that we currently have in this world, and aligning themselves also with the core of the earth through which the axis runs. So again, just saying how important this will be for us to actually be fully aligned. And so hopefully this knowledge helps us a little bit when we move through the 1111. So for those of you who are yogis, and even, you know, for those of you who practice Qigong, you are familiar with the energy channels that run through the spine, the subtle bodies. And so again, how do we achieve enlightenment? You know, we achieve it through actually running energy through the channel, which we call our spine. So this, there's a lot to be said about this. Hopefully you didn't mind. But, you know, the alignment, once again, these are beautiful pictures from different mystical traditions about who is the I am. And so here on the left, you have the Krishna being the higher self. Here on the right, you have Jesus as the higher self. And again, it doesn't matter, because really the higher self for us, when we achieve, you see the spine, you see the pillar of light, how it runs from source all the way down to the human being. It is really important to know, without the axis, it's like having an elevator that is broken, right? And that's why we want to repair the axis. So the Christ self, which can be represented by many different beings, leads us to source. leads us to God, leads us to our own divine self. And so our divine self is the highest aspect of us that emerged from source. And through this alignment, we once again can be whole. To be whole again is what really, truly we must wish for every single being in this world, because without wholeness, there is still unconsciousness. When we all are able to open our hearts, which is the key, right? Because you see how the electromagnetic field and the axis only runs through an open heart. It all starts with love. And so love is really important. We always say love is the key, love is the answer. And, sometimes we take it for granted for what it really means. Love actually is what generates our beautiful magnetism. And so once again, the important thing is to wake up in love, live in love, go to bed in love, share the love, and know the oneness of all life. And so by being you, you might be the one here at the center, emanating so much beautiful love that everyone around you gets to be aligned with you. And so all of this, once again, just leads basically to wholeness. And wholeness is when we are restored. This also, as I mentioned, is called freedom. So when a being is able to generate their own electromagnetic field and make it as powerful as you see here and, way beyond, of course, then the being is also free from the influences that we might call unconscious in this world. And this being then becomes actually an influencer in the true sense, which means your field walks with you, sits with you, and it expands from the core of your being, from love. Isn't that amazing? And of course, that also creates the alignment of our crown with our roots. So that, I think, is pretty much what we have here for today. And I know this kind of event is a little longer than I planned. I usually do an hour, but it's an invitation to come to 11:11. And we will also play now instructions from Patricia Cota Robles that she shared yesterday in her beautiful blog. And I'm sure that she will actually make a video that will go with that as well. But our beautiful team members here, Ara and Emmy, recorded this information so that we can deeply listen. So if you want to stay for this so that you understand even in the more depth of what's going to happen on 11:11 and actually what's happening today. So everything that we talked about is really, let's go back to this picture, the geomagnetic conditions of the world. The electromagnetic field of the earth is really, it's what plays the important role here in our ascension process. And that is when we are restored, we also ascend. Planetary ascension is the restoration of the alignment of south and of north and south, and the electromagnetic field, where it again becomes the rainbow body of the earth, rainbow body of the earth, and rainbow body of each and every one of us. It's huge, isn't it? So that is really our ascension complete. Our ascension is complete when the planetary ascension, of course, is complete, and that means the full restoration. And so I think I was going to say that let's play actually the beautiful instructions. Again, this comes, geomagnetic field, that's what I wanted to say. So for those of you who follow space weather, I highly recommend on a scientific level, because there's a lot of stuff, of course, on YouTube that I would say, it's nice, but maybe not accurate. But if you look at the geomagnetic conditions of the Earth every day, and there is an app, it's a free app, which is called Space Weather. And Space Weather is a wonderful app to have because it will give you actually notifications when the geomagnetic conditions of the Earth have changed. And today we experience a massive change in the electromagnetic field of the Earth and the geomagnetic conditions. So for that, I recommend always going outside and taking your shoes off and aligning your spine, your feet, your bones, your structure. Yes, KP index 7, geomagnetic storm number 3. So, it's good to know these things because that is the time when you want to go outside and align yourself with the new conditions. Some people become very unbalanced, of course, because about the nervous system, right? And I will post this on YouTube as well. So once again, we understand that electromagnetic fields affect the nervous system. So there's a lot of people who then, go through shifts of perception, shifts in the actually working of the internal organs of the nervous system, the brain, even the heart. And so it's good to know all these things and how they work. And so here, if you have time, we will be listening to an explanation and instructions from Patricia that she shared in her beautiful, it's only 13 minutes newsletter yesterday. So it is about the changes taking place today and preparing us for 11/11. So 13 minutes.
Is actually our personal axis. I am my I am presence, and I am one with the I am presence of every man, woman, and child on earth. I am one with my Father, Mother, God. I am one with the solar logos from suns beyond suns. I am one with the legions of light throughout infinity. I am one with the mighty Elohim, the directors of the elements, and all of the beings associated with the elemental kingdom, including my silent watcher and my body elemental. During this cosmic moment on earth, I accept and know that the light of God is exponentially expanding within the hearts and minds of all humanity with every balanced and elevated holy breath we take. Today, Mother Earth and all life evolving upon her are being prepared at both inner and outer levels to ascend through the 11/11 portal on November the 11th. The activity of light being initiated by our Father, Mother, God today is preparing all life on this sweet earth to be able to withstand the greatly intensified frequencies of God's light we will be blessed with during the opening of the 11/11 portal. This preparation will allow us to safely align with the fifth dimensional new Earth's solar axis and also the axis of the suns beyond suns and Earth's lineage and the cosmic axis of our specific galaxy. This alignment will occur on November the 11th, 11/11, through the unified efforts of awakening humanity and the entire company of heaven. Mother Earth's recently adjusted position in the universe is allowing humanity, the elemental kingdom, and Mother Earth to receive higher solar light codes through the portals of the suns and Earth's lineage than we have previously been able to assimilate. This includes the solar light codes flowing through the portals of our physical sun, Helios and Vesta, our central sun, Alpha and Omega, our great central sun, Eloah and Eloah, and our great central sun, El and Elah. Through every person's I am presence, these higher solar light codes are recalibrating our spiritual brain centers, which include our pineal, pituitary, and hypothalamus glands, and the ganglionic center at the base of our brains. This recalibration is creating the sacred space for our I am presence to heal any fragmented circuitry within our brains that is still preventing us from communicating intuitively with our I am presence, the company of heaven, or our Father, Mother, God. As this occurs, our mental body, our superconscious mind, our conscious mind, our subconscious mind, and our physical brain structures are being empowered to receive a brand new level of divine consciousness, which is the very essence of our Father, Mother, God.
Now, as we inhale and exhale our balanced and elevated holy breath deeply, we begin receiving higher and higher frequencies of our life force and prana. Our holy breath is cleansing and purifying our physical, etheric, mental, and emotional bodies. As this purification occurs within our earthly bodies, it is simultaneously occurring within the earthly bodies of the elemental kingdom and Mother Earth. The holy breath of God is now lifting each of us up in energy, vibration, and consciousness. Instantly, we become aware that we are ascending into the realms of eternal light and illumined truth. We pass through a multi-dimensional doorway into higher frequencies of God's infinite light than we have ever experienced. Here, we are enveloped in cascading brilliant light, which is reflecting the pristine beauty and the exquisite colors, musical tones, fragrances, and divine qualities associated with the 12 fifth-dimensional crystalline solar aspects of deity. This resplendent light is reverberating with the music of the spheres. Every person's I am presence now confirms that there is a great shaft of light radiating through each of us. This is our fifth dimensional solar spine and our 12 fifth dimensional crystalline solar chakras. In this higher frequency of God's infinite light, our I Am presence helps us to perceive that our fifth dimensional solar spine is the finger of God Almighty, pointing to planet Earth from out of the realms of eternal light, saying, "Here I am." This revelation confirms that our fifth dimensional solar spine is actually our personal axis, which aligns with the axis of Mother Earth, the axis of the suns beyond suns in Earth's lineage, and the axis of our galaxy. Along this shaft of solar light, we see and feel our 12 solar chakras now reflecting a higher frequency of unity consciousness than we have ever experienced. As we assimilate this divine light, we begin to clearly comprehend that we are both a planetary and a solar light being. We are both spirit and matter unified on earth in perfect harmony. We serve on earth through our earthly bodies. However, through our I Am presence, we also live, move, breathe, and have our being within the unity consciousness of our Father, Mother God, the cosmic I Am, all that is. Now, with every balanced and elevated holy breath we take, our I Am presence is preparing us to receive the most powerful activation within our fifth dimensional solar spine axis that cosmic law will allow. This activation involves the sacred geometric codes of 11 and 1111 and 111111. The master number 11 reflects the transfiguration from the physical into the divine. These sacred codes have been pulsating at a dormant level within every person's 12 fifth dimensional solar strands of DNA. With the opening of the 1111 portal of light, on November 11th, every person's I am presence, in unison with our Father, Mother, God, will activate these geometric codes to their full divine potential. This activation will empower humanity to collectively take a quantum leap up the spiral of evolution into higher frequencies of the fifth dimensional solar new Earth. This activation will create the sacred space that will allow every person to amplify our alignment with the axis of our sisters and brothers in the family of humanity, the axis of Mother Earth, the axis of the suns beyond suns in Earth's lineage, and the corresponding cosmic axis of our galaxy. Now our I Am presence is taking full dominion of our creative faculties of thought and feeling. With every breath we take, we now experience an upward shift in our hearts and conscious minds. We are becoming radiant sons of God's multidimensional and multifaceted solar light. This light is accelerating the divine alchemy within humanity's crystalline solar light bodies. This divine alchemy involves the transfiguration from our carbon-based planetary bodies into our fifth dimensional crystalline-based solar light bodies. This activation is igniting the immaculate concept of our earthly bodies, which is the divine blueprint pulsating within every cell of our physical, etheric, mental, and emotional bodies. This is lifting humanity, the elemental kingdom, and Mother Earth into higher frequencies of God's infinite perfection than we have ever known.
Now, like the sea reflecting the sun, we will keep our conscious minds open to the opportunity being provided to Mother Earth and all life evolving upon her during the 11:11 activation. Now, seeing and knowing that plan, we consecrate our life force to manifesting it. As we assimilate this sacred knowledge and begin to fully comprehend with wonder and awe what this 11:11 activation will accomplish, we feel great ecstasy in our hearts and deep serenity in our minds. We now permanently seal this activity of light in the full embrace of our Father, Mother God's comprehensive divine love. As we do, we consecrate our balanced and elevated holy breath and our life force to be the open door for this unfathomable divine intervention on behalf of every particle and wave of life evolving on this sweet earth. And so it is. Beloved, I am that I am.
And so it is. So thank you so much once again for being here, for understanding this incredible opportunity, this selfless service to all life. You know, it's really about ending illusion, ending suffering, whether you experience it or not. You know, the world deserves to be at peace again, and peace is only a result of alignment, where every single one of us is actually aligned with love. So it really is about aligning with love. And so it is. So I look forward to being with you on 11/11 in some way, shape, or form. But again, Patricia will lead our 11/11 event with a video that you can already view on our website. And so thank you so much, and so many blessings to everyone.